Hi and welcome to the movie recap. Knoll, a former student in a private school, was the victim of a gang rape identical to the one depicted in Luckiest Girl Alive. Knoll first claimed that his best-selling debut was a work of fiction, but in 2016 he published an essay in Lenny Letter outlining the autobiographical undertones. Today we'll recap the story of Luckiest Girl Alive, so let's begin with a summary of the movie. Coming to the overview of the storyline of The Luckiest Girl Alive. Annie Finelli, played by Mila Kunis, is a woman who appears to have everything she could want. By always putting people's needs before her own, she has created the ideal existence for herself. She's engaged to a wealthy and a good-looking guy named Luke Finn Whitrock, and she also has a job at a glamorous women's magazine where she puts in a lot of hard work. Even though she is writing articles about how to deliver a nice blowjob, her boss keeps assuring her that they will be moving to the New York Times very soon. It's not entirely clear how this will be accomplished, just accept it and go on. However, Annie is burying a painful memory from her past. When she was a teenager and still went by the name Tiffany, she was the victim of a gunshot at her school. Even though she was never prosecuted for any crime, for years there has been speculation that she may have been involved in the crime as an accessory. She is the subject of an interview request from a documentary filmmaker who is interested in hearing her side of the tale. In the beginning, Annie responds a no when the filmmaker asks her about her trauma story, since she knows that Luke, her fiance, would prefer that she not talk about it. However, she finally comes around to the idea of participating in the documentary after learning that an old classmate of hers called Dean, Alex Perrone, who was shot and is now an activist for gun control, would be interviewed for it. The narrative is told in a sequence of flashback scenes at this point. Tiffany, who was portrayed in the flashbacks by Chiara O'Reilly, is a stunning young woman who goes to a prestigious private school. Her mother is quite strict and follows everything to the letter. During one of the evenings that Tiffany spends at a party in which everyone is drunk, she is subjected to a gang rape at the hands of some of the most popular boys at her high school, including Dean and Liam. She goes to her teacher and informs him about what's taking place, and her teacher then discusses the situation with the school's principal. Tiffany's mother must be called before the incident can be reported to the police, as the headmaster does not feel that Tiffany will be able to recall what occurred and does not believe that Tiffany will be able to remember what occurred. Tiffany decides to drop the case and not press charges, since she is aware of the amount of distress that her mother would experience as a result of the situation. Tiffany's close buddy Arthur, who is played by Thomas Barbuska, is fuming over her. Because Dean and Liam have always picked on him, he despises both of them. In addition to this, he divulges to Tiffany the fact that Dean and Liam once attacked their common friend Ben while they were in the woods. Tiffany's cowardice in allowing the bullies to get away with the rape infuriates him, and he begs her to gain some backbone. Following an event in which Arthur gets into a confrontation with the other guys in the hallway and risks being expelled, he and Ben conclude that they need to take matters into their own hands. They fire up their talent, ultimately taking the life of Liam in addition to the other kids. When Arthur finally gets close to Dean, he hands Tiffany the revolver and gives her orders to kill Dean on her own. When Arthur does this, Tiffany is shocked beyond belief. Instead, Tiffany stabs Arthur, but not before he can shoot Dean, inflicting a spinal injury that will cause Dean to a wheelchair for the rest of his life. This damage will require Dean to use a wheelchair for the rest of his life. Because of the harm done, Dean will be confined to a wheelchair for the remainder of his life. Tiffany finds out that Dean has been spreading the word that she was engaged in the shooting as an accomplice when she is at the funeral for Liam. Tiffany finds out this information while attending the burial of Liam. He said that she had an affair with both Dean and Liam, and that after Dean turned her down as a prospective boyfriend, she went on a killing rampage. He also claimed that she had an affair with Liam. It should not come as much surprise that Dean is occasionally dishonest. The reason why Tiffany's mother is so upset with her is that she attended a party where she drank alcohol and had sexual encounters with other individuals. Tiffany is never accused of committing a crime, but up until this point, she has never discussed what occurred from her viewpoint. The ending of The Luckiest Girl Alive? Annie relates the events of the incident that occurred in the past, as she's being videotaped for a documentary on the event. When she finally gets to the section in which she admits that Dean and Liam sexually assaulted her, an adult version of Dean unexpectedly walks into the room where they are recording and wants to talk to Annie. Annie leaves in a huff. She reveals to her fiancé that she won't be participating in the documentary after all, and that she plans to compose something on her own to convey the narrative from her perspective instead. Annie then shows the story to her editor, who pushes her to make it even more honest by suggesting that she write another article on the experience. Annie approaches Dean during one of Dean's book signings, and during a private chat that she covertly tapes, she succeeds in getting Dean to publicly reveal that he raped Annie. In the meantime, the wedding preparations are moving along at a breakneck pace. During the rehearsal dinner that Annie and Luke are holding, she gets the news that her piece will be published in the New York Times. Annie and Luke are hosting the dinner. Luke feels betrayed because he was not informed that she was working on the artwork before she showed it to him, so he reacts angrily when she does. Annie has had a sudden awakening to the fact that Luke's numerous little sights and microaggressions have been building up over time. She concludes that she will not proceed with the engagement. Annie's essay gets viral. In the scene that is reminiscent of the #MeToo movement that took place in 2017, Annie receives messages from women all over the world thanking her for expressing her story and revealing that they too have been victim of sexual assault. These women reveal that they had been the victim of sexual assault. But it's not all praise. In the last scene of the film, Annie is stopped on the street by a woman who says that she's been writing about Dean and the work he has done over many years in favor of the gun control effort. Annie is informed by her that he helped a lot of people during his work. Let's keep our fingers crossed that the dream of becoming famous for 15 minutes that you have always had will come true. Annie is taken aback for a little period, but she snaps out of it very fast and becomes motivated to locate the woman. The speaker continued, "Please pardon me, I'm so sorry. I would love to remain in contact, but I've already forgotten your name. I would love to keep in touch, but I've already forgotten your name." After that he responded, "Oh, that's okay," before the woman ever had a chance to answer. "You will always be known to me as the woman who I yelled at and told to go fuck herself on 5th Avenue. I will never forget you for that." Annie had a sense of relief and contentment as a result of the fact that she was finally able to articulate her concerns and advocate for herself before leaving the room. It's at this point that the movie draws to a close.
We all came together at that moment because we knew that we had to help Peyton.
That's all for this video. If you loved this video and you want to watch more of other movies, do let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and thank you for watching.